What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another daily Manchester City transfer update, and boy have things started to hot up in the transfer window in the last 24 hours. So before I do crack on with this video, including huge updates on both the ins and outs, including the very latest on Julian Alvarez, do make sure you have subscribed if you haven't done so already. It is free to subscribe, and I am going to keep you guys up to date here on YouTube every single day with all the latest Manchester City transfer news. Also, don't forget as well to go and check out my social media links. You can find them in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up. 300 likes is the aim. So no contract news, so we're going to dive straight in with the outs, and we've had a confirmed transfer, and it is that of Yan Couto. Now, Borussia Dortmund yesterday made Yan Couto official on Saturday morning, joining at 10 AM BST, literally a few minutes after I just uploaded, which has just been typical of this transfer window for me. So he joins Borussia Dortmund from Manchester City on a season-long loan, and then next summer there is an obligation to buy for €30 million, which is roughly around £25 million in today's current exchange rate. So I want to wish the best of luck to Yan Couto on the move. Doesn't look like any sell-on fee or release clause has been included, or any buyback clauses in this contract as well. So it looks like Yan Couto is going to be a Borussia Dortmund player, and more than likely we probably won't see Yan Couto back at Manchester City. So it's thank Yan Couto for all of his hard work that he's put into the football club, and wish him the very best of luck on his move to Borussia Dortmund and in Germany, and hope he has a cracking time there and a cracking rest of his career. Now, moving on, we've got the very latest on Ederson, and Fabrizio Romano has said it's official now that Ederson to Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia is off. They have pulled out of the race to sign him because they've instead added another goalkeeper. They've added Predrag Rajkovic from Mallorca, signing him for €11 million instead. So Ederson to Al Ittihad isn't happening. Ederson to Al Nassr isn't happening. Are any other Saudi Arabian clubs going to want to come in for him? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe some more interest from around the globe. But as of right now, once again, like it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, Ederson is going to be remaining a Manchester City player. Now, moving on to the final transfer of the outs, takes us on to a gargantuan update on Julian Alvarez. Now, Gaston Edul has said that Atletico Madrid will present their offer of €60 million to Manchester City for Julian Alvarez. It is believed that Paris Saint-Germain have offered Julian Alvarez's agent and entourage, along with Julian Alvarez and Manchester City, so all parties covered here, more money than what Atletico Madrid have. It does also say that PSG and Atleti are the two clubs that are after Julian Alvarez. Chelsea not interested in signing Julian Alvarez in this window, but Simon Mullock does say that Arsenal are monitoring the situation. He does go on to say that Manchester City do have a price tag of around £80 million, and it is too steep for Arsenal right now. And if I'm being completely honest, I just wouldn't even contemplate selling to Arsenal. Arsenal could come in and say, we'll give you £110 million, and I'd still say no, because you don't want to strengthen one of your Premier League rivals. It just doesn't make any sense in doing so. Why would we want to strengthen them? To me, there isn't a price on that. Anyway, Foot Mercato, they have said that PSG are the club that's showing the most interest in Julian Alvarez right now, and they have been told by Manchester City that they're looking for around €70 to €80 million. So we are seeing very conflicting information about the fee, and it's further added by Sam Lee, who says City are looking for £70 million as a base fee, and are also looking for £15 to £20 million in achievable add-ons. So you're looking at a deal worth £80 to £90 million. So we are looking at, so Atleti's €60 million offer is far too short. You're looking at under £55 million. Man City are looking at, you would expect this to be a fee of around £70 to £80 million rather than €70 to €80 million. It all depends on what add-ons are included and what little bonuses are going to be included on the deal as to whether it is going to be achievable. But in terms of the finances, I'd probably say it's more likely that PSG could afford it than Atleti. But I know Alvarez wants his move to Spain for the nice weather. He's more guaranteed nice weather in Madrid for a longer period of time than he is in both Paris and in Manchester. But Paris do have normally nicer weather than what it is in Manchester, certainly a little bit warmer, with it sitting further south, obviously in France, than what it is up in the northwest of England. Now, Jack Gaughan has said that Atletico Madrid have now started discussions with Manchester City over a deal to sign Julian Alvarez, and does add that Paris Saint-Germain are also keen. It is believed that Alvarez's agent is in Paris to talk with them. It's believe there's already some kind of verbal agreement in place between Alvarez and Atletico Madrid, and I imagine if PSG are offering more, that Alvarez's agent's going to go to Atletico Madrid to ask them to try and get as close to or price match what PSG are willing to pay. So a bit of a transfer tussle, a transfer battle going on, which I think does aid Man City, in particular if they do want to sell Alvarez, that they will be able to get a really good value for money. So the bigger question would be here, are Manchester City going to be able to find a suitable replacement for Julian Alvarez and be able to add to their squad for the money that we're going to bring in for Alvarez and for the other player sales, as well as Man City continue to chip down at that net spend at the moment. Now, what have we made? 50, 60 million euros, looking at around 40 to 50 million pounds, and you've got more money always been generated from young player sales, and João Cancelo could be leaving for another 10 to 25 million pounds, depending on if it's a loan with obligations to buy. So there's plenty of money there with an Alvarez sale for us to be able to sanction not just the signing to replace Julian Alvarez in the squad, but also to address the most serious of issues, that we've still got that little hole in midfield with the number 6, number 8 role, which I don't think is going to be looked at by City until we sort out the future of Kalvin Phillips. And going off Pep Guadiola's comments towards Kalvin Phillips in pre-season after Man City's win against Chelsea in our final game in the USA of pre-season, I wouldn't rule out Kalvin Phillips maybe staying at Manchester City, but if you're accumulating a lot of money in, then you've got money there to spend to find a suitable replacement. And if Kalvin Phillips wasn't good enough 12 months ago and we had to loan him out in January, then he's not going to be good enough now after a terrible loan deal at West Ham. But here we are. Anyway, moving on to the ins, some very positive news. James McAtee and Nico O'Reilly, they are not going to be loaned out by Manchester City, and instead they are going to be added to the Manchester City first team squad, as confirmed by the main man, Pep Guardiola. So congratulations to both of them. A huge achievement. It is things you absolutely do love to see, and it just go to show that impressing during pre-season can really aid your career at Manchester City, and it shows that when you've got your opportunities during pre-season, if you aren't a regular and you grab them opportunities with both hands, then it can have brilliant aspects on the rest of your footballing career. And Oscar Bob, now look at him, he's gone from being a Manchester City squad player to a player that's now knocking on the door of wanting to feature regularly, and he's played really well during pre-season, put that in with a couple of very impressive performances last season, and all of a sudden now there's talk that Man City maybe don't want to dip into the market because they've already got a player like Oscar Bob available, and it has been suggested that Alvarez may not be replaced and they may want to use Oscar Bob, even though I think Oscar Bob's better suited out wide than through the middle, but he can play through the middle, and versatility and having them options is always key to Manchester City and to Pep Guardiola. So a big season coming for them 3 youngsters. Now moving on, Ryan McAidoo, we have had that update from Fabrizio Romano now, and he has said that Manchester City have signed Ryan McAidoo from Chelsea's academy. He will join the City Football Academy, the CFA, on a long-term deal, so it's to warmly welcome Ryan to the club and wish him the very best of luck at Manchester City. Now moving on, Bruno G, the natural player you think City would be targeting in the number 6, number 8 role, maybe isn't going to be happening this summer, because he has posted on his social media, on his Twitter, that he is more committed than ever to Newcastle. He said it's a great honour to be selected as the club's captain, and he wants to help them to achieve even more success. And for him to go say them words and then go back on his word within a month and join Manchester City is going to upset a lot of people. It's just realistically not going to happen. So for me, it looks like he's not going to be joining Manchester City, and maybe City have just missed that window with that release clause in June in not making the signing happen. But with so many question marks about the squad, I don't think City wanted to spend that money to then say we're going to keep hold of players, or you end up in a position where you've got to let players go, and clubs know you've got to let them players go, and they'll be able to pick them up for a cheaper fee than what City would be looking for, and not representing good value for money. So we miss out on a player, but we will get premium money for our players, which improves our players' selling ability. But in terms of purchasing players, here we are. And as I said, Man City do love a release clause. Now moving on to the final transfer, and speaking of release clauses, takes us on to an update on Eberechi Eze, and his £60 million release clause is still active, and Manchester City are still interested in him, and Manchester City are going to be needing a Julian Alvarez replacement. We're going to want a versatile option, and Eberechi Eze is a natural player there that could well help Manchester City in helping to replace Julian Alvarez and offering some more competitive competition in Manchester City's wide areas and through midfield as well. Do not rule out Dani Olmo either. €60 million release clause earlier in the summer. That's exactly the price that RB Leipzig are looking for. You've got a player here who can play as a false nine, play in attacking midfield, central midfield. A very creative player. I do have some reservations about his injury track record, but you are looking at two pretty affordable players here. Not too much interest in Eze. Barcelona showing a lot of interest in Dani Olmo. It looked like the firm favourites, but if Alvarez's sale gets sorted, let's say this week, and some kind of agreement is reached by the end of this week, nothing stops Manchester City making that move and coming in for Dani Olmo and just kind of overtaking Barcelona. I've seen Man City do it, not for a long time, probably not since Bernardo Silva, when we just jumped the gun on Manchester United to bring Bernardo Silva to Manchester City. But with Man City's relations that they've got with RB Leipzig, I'm not going to sit here and rule that out, but I do think it's unlikely, and I reckon Eze is probably more likely, and he's got Premier League experience and a better injury track record than Dani Olmo, so we'll wait and see. Could use Oscar Bob, we'll have to wait and see. But what I am going to confirm is this window now has been interesting. It's now very, very interesting. What direction are we going to go in? Is this going to wake up Manchester City in the transfer market? It certainly looks so. So there we go. That has been today's transfer update. If you did enjoy this video, do leave a thumbs up. 300 likes is the aim. Also, don't forget as well to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do subscribe as well if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Also, don't forget as well to go check out my social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries, and I'll see you religiously tomorrow for the next daily Manchester City transfer update. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.